Good evening, everybody. I'm just gonna sit here and wait till a few people join, hopefully. Let's see, who have we got? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. And I apologise now because Jelly thinks he can get in. Hey Nikki. Say hi in the comments. As I say, I apologise if you can hear Jelly in the background. He wants to be in on the action for some reason. So I'm gonna get started. Thank you for joining me this evening, and like I say, if you can't watch me live, then I will post this to the Facebook page so you can catch it on replay. So I'm super excited to be here tonight and share with you the new products that went live this morning at 9 AM British summertime. So to start off with, we've got the new Flower Power stencil. So this one coordinates with the Flower Power 4 clear stamps that were released. I can't even remember. I need a list of the dates of when things were released, to be honest. So as you can see, hopefully, that it's an enlargement of this detail stamp here. As you know, I've been slowly adding to the supersized Flower Power stencils, and this one is the one I chose today. So that's the first product. Then we go over to the clear stamp set, which is Bauhaus Blocks. As you know, I have a history and qualification in design, surface pattern design, and a lot of my products are all inspired by various period styles throughout history, and I've been recently particularly drawn to geometrics and the Bauhaus period, and I just thought it'd be a fabulous style to put into a masculine orientated set, and that's what I've done here. So the set features 5 of the different blocks and then 4 centimeters. 4 sentiments. Falling over my words. Hi Angie, nice to see you here. So reason why I fell over my words then is because the blocks are 4 by 4 centimeters square. And obviously usually I do mix and match sentiments, but for this set I decided to leave them as individual sentiment strips. So that's the Bauhaus blocks. And the product I wanted to introduce and use tonight is the new layering Bauhaus Block Builder stencil. So it comes in 3 stencils in 3 layers, and I will show you how it works. So each layer builds up a different colour, but you'll recognise the layout from the previously released Mod Background Builder stencil and the Mod Background Builder circle stencil, where you get the focal point and then the option to build your own background. Obviously with these 2 stencils I've added elements in the corners, but with it being a layering stencil I didn't want to overcomplicate things, so I kept it with no added extras on the side. But I think it was Izzy who showed an example today where she's done the focal point and then she's added the circles from Background Builder's circles in the corners. You could also use Background Builder's squared, or the triangles, or the hexagons. There's hearts, diamonds, so there's lots of options, and I'm sure you will, if you purchase this product, you will find many more options. So this is what I was going to demonstrate. I am going to demonstrate for you tonight, because I think before I get to the demonstration, I thought I'd quickly run through my cards. Sorry, kind of winging it here a little bit. So this one, I couldn't find my other card that I made using Flower Power 4 stencil, but this one, obviously I've used a partial section of the stencil, and then I've added the smile die, which is from the exclusive Craft Stash collection, and I'm looking forward to playing with this more during the week. The team have done a fabulous job showcasing this. I know Steph has done a wonderful card doing it in yellow, and she's added elements from the Be Happy set, and I know that Anita has done a beautiful one where she's just segmented one of the hearts to make a love theme card. And then here are the examples that I've shown over the week and today on the blog using the Bauhaus blocks. And that one, I've had this one in my head since I designed the set, and the set's been designed for quite a while now. I was just waiting for the perfect time to release it, and I think with Father's Day coming up, it's perfect. Nicola says, can't wait to see how that works and build up the colours with the layers. Yes, I will get to it. So here I just paired one of the blocks with our popular background blocks linear, which is now back in stock. So if you've been waiting for it, it's now available again. And this is what I'll be demonstrating now, which is the stencil. So as you can see on these 2 cards here, that I've used it as a focal point and then just embellished it with this is a flower built up using mid-century modern florals, and this is the mid-century modern Perfect Day cat, and then I've used the sentiments. So that was a couple of options. And then obviously I shared this one the other day where I've used the stencil to fill a complete background. So I will now get to the interesting part of showing you how the stencil works. So if you know me and been following me for a while, all of my card bases, I use a lot of American card, so it's only 28 centimeters long, slightly shorter than our A4 in the UK. So all my card bases are 10.5 by 14, and I find this size really easy to work with and remember when I'm doing layers. So that size is always the size of my base card. So I've just put some temporary adhesive on the back just to keep my paper in my cardstock in place on my work mat. Now what I've found is this layer here with the more stripes at the top and the smaller amount of circles at the bottom is the layer that I start with. It's just obviously the lines at the end here, if I'll show you this example, they sort of determine where the block will sit, so it's an equal size either side, but I don't measure, I just eye it up. And to be honest, if you're going to fill a whole space, it doesn't really matter too much. And then I use this low tack Scotch tape. Yes, they're perfect for masculine cards, Nikki. I agree. They are a difficult gender to make cards for. So I use this Scotch tape, and I'm just going to put a little bit in two of the corners just to keep it sort of sturdy. Now I've decided that even though they're masculine orientated, I'm going for a floral card today, and I'm going to use, these are my current favourite colours from Concord and Ninth. They blend lovely. I believe I used them on, they're the colours that I used for this card, but I'm going to use a different floral today to embellish once I'm done. So I'm going to start off with the yellow, and literally I always start off on the side of my stencil, so I don't want I want the colours to be visible, not too pale but not too bright. And I think when you start off the edge of the stencil, you can slowly build up the colour until you're happy. And you're just going to go over all of the sections. I mean, you're not limited to just using inks through these stencils. They're like all the other stencils that I have released. You can use your pastes through them, your glitters, you can emboss, heat emboss through them. Lots of options. Obviously with it being layered, and if you used your embossing paste through, you would have to give it time to dry in between to build up the layers, but just think how wonderful it would look sparkly. So I'm just going through. Some of the points and the circles need a little bit more attention, just to make sure that you're getting into all the little tiny spaces. And then I think that'll do for the yellow. Oh yeah, I think they do as well. Angie, the stencils do take paste lovely. There's one that I particularly like. It's by Gina K. It's a texture paste and it's white, and it's one that I use then to go through and add colour afterwards. So there you have the first layer. I'm just going to wipe this off so it's drying. I just use a stamp chamois. It's a Lawn Fawn one I got from Seven Hills Crafts, my go-to shopping. I bought it a long time ago, and but it does the job I need. So then next, the next layer I'm going to do is the other one with the lines at the top, and it's just a case of lining it up. And you'll be able to see where the design fits. And again, just temporarily adhering it to my base. And I'm going to do some grapefruit this time. It's a nice soft peachy orangey colour. And again, just starting off on the sides and then going in, though I've gone a little bit heavy there. I don't want to keep you too long this evening. Have you all had some sunshine today where you are? It was lovely to see the sunshine today, and it was nice to have a walk out and post all the lovely orders that came in this morning. Thank you very much. Of course, the beans came with us today, and Carl was with me as well. While I was busy in the post office, he treated them to some ice creams. Oh yeah, hi Tara, it's lovely to see you. Yes, it would be fun to mix and match. So inking and then perhaps embossing a layer and then pasting. That is a really, really good idea. I hadn't thought about mixing techniques. See? All these wonderful ideas we share with each other when we're doing lives and crafting, and I actually feel quite confident today with me technical setup. Thanks to Nikki and her husband for helping me, giving me some tips. So that's the second layer. Oh. This is why I stick to a base and then you don't ruin anything. So that's that layer. As you can see, I love this. Is one of my favourite colour combos at the minute. It's nice and soft, but still cheerful at the same time. So then we have our final layer, and this one I think is probably the one to do last, so you can make sure you line it up. But to be honest, if the colours overlap a bit, there isn't too much to worry about. And I'm going to go in with the final colour, which is the Aqua Sky. I should have done some steps beforehand, shouldn't I? So I'm not wasting your time, but it's all good fun anyway. I'm having fun. As I say, you can always come back and catch up later, because I will post it to my feed. And my Aqua Sky is getting a little bit dry. I need to re-ink this one, so I'm just going to switch the colour that I do have in the large ink pads. The cubes are usually what I take to shows with me, so I can take a larger range of colours, and then my favourite colours I tend to get in the larger ink pads. Yes, so these, I find these brushes so much easier than the old inking, the like foam pads that went on a stick, but they were quite flat, and I found them really hard to ink with and get an even ink blending look. I used to get a lot of unwanted sort of stripe marks. So these brushes are from Funky Fossil, because I know Sarah quite well and I've seen her at the shows, so I expanded my range. But I originally started off with these coloured ones, which are from Tailored Expressions. When they seem to be one of the first sort of brands that launched the ones with coloured handles, but mine are quite well used. So, but these are lovely and soft, and I just find them really easy to apply the colour. Some people, you can get sort of like makeup brushes as well, that work. But yeah, the idea is that you sort of start off slowly with your colour, and then you can go in over and over again to build up the colour. Sometimes, like today, I do get a little impatient and just want to go all out applying the colour straight away. So there are your 3 layers layered up. So the trick to build a full background using this stencil. So we're going to go back to the first layer, and I'm going to go down here with it first. So the idea is that you can just move it around to fill your space. Now, to line up this one, if you were going to go up the top, you might want to start with a different layer, which was our second layer. Just by switching it up, you can line up where you are putting the layers to fill the background. So I'm going to start off with our yellow layer first, and I'm going to go in this bottom corner. And you just want to line it up as best you can. So I'm going to go back in with the buttercup. So has anyone got any nice plans for the weekend? Are you going out anywhere nice? Doing crafting? I'm not sure what. I think the fellas might be going out with Grandma and Grandad again tomorrow somewhere. I don't think they've decided yet, but they usually spend the day with the grandparents. They're out this evening, they sleep over every Friday, which is lovely. Which means I hope to be doing more Facebook Lives over the coming weeks and sharing more inspiration using a variety of products. We've had lots of restocks come in, and I'm excited to use and share some of them, because some of them have been out of stock for a while. Apologies, I'll just turn Alexa off because she's pinging. So I've done my first layer, and then I'm going to go back in again and do this layer with the grapefruit colour. You're doing a bit of gardening and crafting, that sounds perfect, Nikki. Yes, there are so many options. You'll see from the examples the design team have shared this week and today using this stencil. There's so many different options and layouts that you can do, and you could easily mask off sections as well on the stencil if you only wanted certain patterns, or if you wanted to do, you could easily sort of mask off this top and this bottom to create a rectangle. It's really versatile, and I think it works. Even though I've designed it more for the men in mind, it's definitely got the floral feminine elements to it as well, that I've shown with the examples that it works with mid-century modern, and it'll work. I think it'll work with a lot of Uniko florals, because when I design products, I do think about other things that can be used with it when you have it in your stash. I know a lot of my customers, regulars, have a lot of Uniko stash, and it's getting, when you buy new products, you want to make sure that it works with other things that you may have. So I've done the first 2 layers, and I'm going to go in with the aqua sky. I know this bit is quite tedious and time consuming, but I assure you the results are worth it in the end for sure. Well, I've got some tidying up to do this weekend. We had a new boiler fitted midweek and the house is upside down still, so I need to organise that and tidy up still. I have some plants to plant like you, Nikki, so otherwise my mother-in-law won't be giving me any more for free if I don't plant them and I let them die. So I've done this bottom corner. Now I am going to go up into the top. Am I going to go up into the top? I'm going to go up into the top corner, I believe. Yes, I'm going to go up into the top corner. So I'm going to use this layer that has most of the circles filled up here. It's a bit of a mind bender to start off with, but once you get going, it's easy to use and fill. Where did I put my other piece? See, this low tack Scotch tape lasts for ages. So I'm trying to think which colour. Oh, it's the grapefruit that I need. You could use a permanent marker and number your stencils if you wanted to, so you can keep track. If you're anything like me with a mid-40s brain, I often forget what stage I'm at. Getting a bit heavy-handed now. Gets a little bit quicker, obviously, depending on the size of your card. If you have a bigger card base, then it would take you a little bit longer to fill. But you could easily, you don't necessarily have to use all the layers either. You could probably get some fantastic results just by doing random layers, dotted all over the place. The completist in me likes to fill the design completely, but one day I might have to step out my comfort zone a little bit and just try using one or two of the layers to see what kind of look that would give. And so I've done the yellow, and then I've got the aqua to do in there. So as you can see, it's fairly easy to line up and position. And then we'll go in the aqua sky just to finish this top section here. This is quite a subtle colour, you can't always see it straight away when you apply it. And there you have that layer. So next you could start anywhere really, but I'll stick to, I'll probably go with this one again. So this one you're using when they're all joined together, you're just using these two blocks here to fill in the two bits on the side. So as the triangle is at the bottom, I'm going to go in and add the triangle first. I'm using my bits of tape. Sorry. My father-in-law decides to phone me at this point in time. Oh, I'm glad you like the stencils, Nikki. Don't again. Leave me alone. I'm busy. Does he not know I'm doing a Facebook Live? And it's like, for some reason he's got me on speed dial. Usually he phones Carl. So this is going to be fairly quick because the design hangs over the edges. And this is the trouble when you have all your gadgets connected as well. Apple, it just like comes through on the phone. Never mind. Got to provide a bit of entertainment for you, haven't I? While I'm inking. So I went a little bit wonky on that one. I should have maybe started with this one, but you get the idea. I've got me wonky eyes on, I think, today. But I'm definitely ending my day nicely, sharing and crafting with you all. I hope. Have I done this? Do you know what I've done? It's me not concentrating. I've added, see, look, that bit fits in there. This is the bit I needed to add. My apologies. He's thrown me off track now. Yeah, proves I am live. He's thrown me off track. This is the colour. I'm wondering why my colour's coming out green, and it's because I put the wrong section on. And he's trying again. And I've gone over with the yellow still on, and it's come out a nice sort of pale green colour. Silly me. Never mind. See, even I make mistakes. But what I'd probably do is, I was wondering why it wouldn't line up properly as well. You could easily trim that section off and use it as a partial down another card. You could fill this and then cut down, or you could hide it with a flower going off the side. There's lots of options that you can do. Telling me needs to join the live. Yes. Well, the boys have got Grandad hooked on YouTube now. He watches fishing videos on YouTube. There's probably something not, it won't be urgent because he knows he can phone Carl. I have no idea what he's phoning me about. There you go. It's hidden a little bit. So then I'm going to go back, and then you're going to do exactly the same again. Now, if you wanted to, you don't necessarily have to use these two squares. You could actually go in and use any of them, really. I'm going to go, and you just mask it off, but I'm going to go actually for these two on the side. Now, you can use anything to mask, really. I used to use just some printer paper. Hi Vanessa, thank you. I'm glad you like the stencils. Nice to see you here this evening. You can easily catch up. I've just been demonstrating how this stencil layers up. So I'm going to go for here. Anyway, I used to always use printer paper. I had, but then I started using this stuff. It's Eclipse paper, and it's Stamp Addicts. As I do a few of their shows they organise now, I treat myself to some, and you just literally just want to mask off that section there. So it's just low tack again, like the Scotch tape that I use. Now I need to think what colour I'm doing. I think this is the see, he's thrown me now. It's the grapefruit. So then I'm just going to go in, and I've decided to use these. So as I say, yeah, you could just mask off any 2 blocks that you like to fill this section. You could even do it in ones if you really wanted to. You could mask off individual blocks. I'm going to use this masking paper for the next layer. So I'm going to do the yellow next, because then that fills in the square centre and the 2 leaves. So just do that down, mask that section off, and just go in with the buttercup. On the side. Just make sure your masking doesn't cover that bit too much. You might want to do it in 2 pieces, but I've done that square. I'll just try not to go up the top too much, just with how the design sits on each one. And there you've got them, and then there's just one last little bit, and that's this one in the corner here. I'm just gonna mask off again and just fill this last section in on this side. And there, that is the section finished there. And then all you would do if you wanted to fill the whole space is just repeat the same process of moving the stencils. This one you'd probably do like that, and then like that. So there is a slightly different step to doing it. You don't have to use it with the Uniko logo in this top corner. You could easily flip the stencils, but obviously remember to flip all of them, so that would give you another option as well if you wanted to sort of more like mirror image how you've done it. But as I say, with masking you could easily change what blocks that you decide to use with some simple masking. I thought I would quickly just finish this card off. It's been ages since I've used Beautiful Blooms 2, and I included it in the more recent restocks, so I thought I would just do a simple little embellishment for the card using this set. And I'm going to use the outline flower, and I've got my stamping tool, which is the Mini Misty. This one I actually got off eBay, a bargain buy off eBay. I do need some more magnets. These ones are not the best magnets, and because I haven't used the stamp for a while, I'm just going over with a pencil eraser just so my ink sits nicely, And I'm going to go for honey. I've decided my colours before I came on, so I wasn't umming and ahhing. Usually I and ah for ages what to use. And I'm just going to stamp my flower. As you can see, there you go. So this Beautiful Blooms is a, it's not quite a layering, well it is actually, because if you use the solid stamp, large flower, you are layering because you have the centre detail, which is this stamp here. So it is a layering stamp set, but it's quite a simple layering stamp set. And it's quite easy to line up. Obviously it's a lot easier if you're using a stamping tool, as you can see through and line it up when you're happy, and then pick it up when it's in place. Now I always make sure my card is in this bottom corner when I am stamping. There's my eraser. I'm just going to go over the top again. And I didn't find the internal colour, but I'm going to use Ballet Slipper, which is a nice light pink for this part. It just has my usual sort of solid, and it's got some nice little sort of dotted detail in this part. It just adds a little bit more depth to the flower, like so. And I'm going to do a couple of leaves as well from the set. So these leaves are actually a very similar, I think they're like the reverse of the leaves from Flower Power 6. Again, I similarly probably designed the products at the same time, but again I like things to flow and coordinate within the Uniko products. And I'm using parsley for my leaves. It's a go-to green for me. Now unfortunately this set Beautiful Blooms 2 doesn't have any dies yet, but they are on the list. I'm slowly adding and building up the die collection. It's always a choice of, do I bring out dies or do I bring out new stamps? Don't worry, Steph, nice to see you. You can always catch up afterwards. I will post the video, the live, on the feed so you can watch what you missed. I literally have just demonstrated how to build this background with a small interruption of my father-in-law trying to phone me, FaceTime me, and I made a little error, but I'm just showing how I would embellish this. I'm not filling the whole background because I think I'd keep you too long, and I don't want to keep you too long, but as I say, you can always catch up afterwards. So because I don't have dies, it's a case of fussy cutting. Those that know me, I do like a bit of fussy cutting, and the idea is to have a really nice sharp pair of scissors. Now I fell in love with the Stampin' Up snips. I've gone through various pairs over the years, but I find them nice and sharp, and they come with a guard. So the ones with the guard on, I know cutting only cardstock or paper, and the idea is to move your cardstock rather than your scissors when you're cutting, and that gives you a nicer edge. And again, nice and simple. I leave a small white border, just like you would get if you were using a die. On my dies, I did request a slightly smaller border so the white border isn't too thick and noticeable. It's still there, but that is one little feature with the dies, apart from like the sentiment dies where there is a little bit more of a thicker outline. And then I'm just using the same principle to cut out the flower. Yes, it was quite hilarious, Steph. I mean, all my obviously my camera above me is my phone. I'm seeing your comments on my laptop, and I have my iPad, though it's not connected to it, I think, next to me on my desk. And as soon as he rang, it just came through on every device. It's like, obviously I need to give them pre-warning next Friday if I do another live. Not to phone me at 7 or after. To phone Carl instead. Never mind. They do like to provide entertainment, don't they? I'm sure when I tell the boys, they'll be in fits of laughter. Anyway, almost done. This is probably the slowest. This is probably even slower for you than me ink blending through a stencil. And there, cut that out. And you know me, I like foam adhesive, and I'm going to use a little bit of foam adhesive. I used the 1mm thick foam adhesive because it's male friendly. Yeah, the boys will find it funny, Nikki. I can just see them laughing their heads off now. And it'll be Silly Grandad. So this foam adhesive is male friendly, and it gives a little bit of dimension without too much thickness. Obviously this is a 1-layer card, and I'm just going to put it on. So what would you like to see next time I come live? Throw me some ideas. You can always leave a comment on the page, on this post, drop me an email if there's something that you need some more ideas with, a product you might have bought and you haven't used it for a while and need some ideas. Just drop me a message or leave a comment, and I will look at showcasing that in a live, because now I've got so many products and stencils and stamps and dies and various things. It's deciding what to use next sometimes. So we've got some lovely restocks came in with the new release, and I kept a few of them more masculine orientated. We've got the background blocks equalizer came back in, and we got, what else was there? All the mid-century modern is back in stock as well. I know some people have been waiting for the linear stamp set, in particular a stamp, to come back in stock. Anyway, so I've just put a little bit of double-sided tape on for the leaves, and I'm just literally tucking them in, and I'm gonna finish off with the thank you sentiment from the Bauhaus blocks. I absolutely, you know me, I love a good font, and I'm loving this one. So I use oh, lovely. Vanessa, you only found me last month. Yes, there are lots of products. there's 11. We turned 11 in February this year, so there's 10 years to catch up on. Some of them have retired now, but all the popular ones and favourites are still in store. Obviously, if there are a few things out of stock, but I try to restock as much as I can, as well as bringing out new products, and I try not to overwhelm, so that's why some of my releases are quite small. Embossing, if that's right. And yeah, the scissors are really good, Nikki. I really like them. I've tried lots of brands, but I like these as sharp scissors. So I'm just using VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. It's my go-to black for sentiments these days. I use it for everything. For if I'm colouring with alcohol markers or even watercolouring, you just want to make sure it is dry and it's set a little bit before you start. Otherwise it will bleed, but most of the time, by the time you've got your colours decided and whatnot, it's usually dry to get going. And as always, I do like an enamel dot as well. I have like a stash next to me. I'm absolutely crushing on these Concord and Ninth ones. The colour is Pebble. It's an absolute, it's not quite a grey and it's not quite a cream, it's sort of in between. Absolutely lovely colour. I have to say, actually doing Facebook Lives actually makes me tidy my desk up, so maybe I should do more and I would be more organised and tidy. Anyway, I pick them up with, I've got this little sort of like, we call it a pokey tool in this house. Where's your pokey tool? Probably not the best name for it. But now it's just deciding where I want to put them all. I'm going to go down here. As you see, I have no sort of like method to my... I'm going to go for a smaller one again actually. I try to do them in a sort of a triangle to offset them, but I think it just adds a little something. I went out of sort of using enamel dots, but I do like how the colours coordinate with cardstock. I call it a pokey tool too. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I think it was an old sort of, when you were making the holes, you know, like to stitch in, that's when I bought it. And I use it to like score my cards, so then if I'm making, because I make a lot of my own card bases. Yeah, you've got a list already. Oh, I'd love to know what's on your list. I bet there's some of my favourites on there. Not that I'm biased, or I try to love all my products equally, but obviously I do have my go-tos. And there you have it. There's the card that I've made this evening. I hope you have enjoyed the live tonight. It's lovely to have you here join me, and as I say, I will post it to my feed so you can catch up. If you have any ideas or what you'd like me to do a live on next, I might just come in and craft away and you can join me if you want to. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me tonight. It makes me really happy. Everything. Oh, that's going to keep me busy all year then, Vanessa. But I'm sure I can do something that will appeal. Maybe I'll do more of a masculine card next week, in time for Father's Day coming up. And I will be at, on Father's Day actually, I will be at Doncaster Dome. I am going to be on the Dies for Die for stand. I will have a small selection of Uniko products with me, and I'll be doing a bit of a mixture demonstration of the Spellbinders Glimmer hot foil system, and pairing it with some Uniko products. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Nikki, and I'm glad you joined as well, Angie. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to sign off now, and I'm going to go and get my tea. Hopefully Carl saved me some. But yeah, thank you very much, and see you all soon.